You are tasked, or you have been tasked by Vader to accompany a squad of purge troopers to a particular location on the planet Coruscant. You are being sent there with a squadron of purge troopers and your companion slash teammate slash old squad mate from the Republic days, IC 5184, aka Blev. And you guys are flying down there, and your advisor, who looks like an Imperial officer, appears on screen, or rather on hologram, I should say, and says, "Gentlemen, you are after a Zeltron named Davik Harding. Male, red skin, tall, dark hair, unknown age, but he's estimated to be in his late 30s. His offenses are harboring fugitives of the Empire, illegal trade of spices, illegal trade of weapons, smuggling, theft, and armed assault. Now, if you can capture him so that we can question him about his dealings and possibly be led to other captures, then you should do so. You should also try your best to capture any assets that are found on premises. However, if everything must be eliminated, everything must be eliminated, and command understands." He flickers away, and in place of where he stood is the layout of a one-story building. It's a very rough layout. We are unsure if this layout is still accurate. These archives are fairly outdated, and we don't know if these are updated blueprints of the location to which you are going. You will be dealing with what should only be a 4-room building, one front room for dealing with customers, one garage, one employee back room, and one office. And he shows a layout, and it's a rectangular puzzle piece shape, pretty much. Not with the parts sticking out, but it's all like Tetrised together. You've got a big, pretty much half of the rectangle is your
The garage.
It's the garage, yep. And then the other half of the rectangle is divided up into thirds. The bottom half of that half is a rectangular front room, and then it has a doorway that leads into the garage, as well as two other doorways at the back of the room, one of which leads to an office that's on the left, and one that leads to a break room that's on the right. And that break room also has a door to the office and to the garage. So,
okay.
Yes. It also flickers to a static image of a street view, pretty much, to show a large metal door that rolls up and rolls down as the garage bay door. And then it also has two windows alongside the front entrance. And then there's also a side entrance on the garage that is kind of down an alleyway. There are little street lights on the walkway, and it is one of those sections of Coruscant where it is it's two streets running parallel to each other with bridges going in between.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not a lowest level type deal, but it's definitely lower level. As your gunship lands, or hovers, I should say, at a selected spot, you offload, because I know we talked about this a little bit earlier. You offload with the purge troopers, and then Blev, who is historically your team's sniper, is taken a little bit farther up and let off on one of the rooftops on the adjacent side of the street from where your target will be, and he's left to kind of run rooftop to rooftop until he is across from the garage. heat signatures are zilch. There doesn't appear to be anybody home except for one. There appears to be one faint heat sig in the building, and that's it.
So what I would do to prepare, knowing what I do now about the building, is I would make sure to have cutting tools and contact the power department to, upon my command, cut the power, and we'll cut through the garage door and then cut through the main door as well, or breach the main door. I
So,
want him fucking blind because we all have night vision in our visors.
okay. That is correct, and the purge troopers do as well. The purge troopers are taking, I guess they're taking their cues from you since you're a little bit more seasoned, but they also know what they're doing. We'll say that, okay, so you're breaching the garage door, the front door. Are you breaching the side entrance as well, or no? Yes.
So I'm gonna have the purge troopers, one fire team breach the garage and one fire team breach the main room, and I'm gonna be posting up on actually the outside of the building, outside that side door, waiting for him. Because naturally he's gonna run to the exit he always uses, which is gonna be that side door.
So you give the order to cut the power. The lights go on the city block, like the entire street just goes dark. And you hear two sounds. You hear a hissing and then a crack and then a hissing and then nothing. And over your comms you hear, "This is Team 1, breaching, clear. Team 1 in. This is Team 2, breaching, clear. Bad charge, bad charge. Breach unsuccessful." What do you do?
I'm gonna plant my charge and breach the side door and divert team 2 to watch my position
All
to
right.
have them like come around the garage and breach in with me.
All right. Team
But
2
I'm gonna go in
circles.
before they get to me.
Okay. Team 2 circles around as you breach the door, and you slam it, and it's dark. Your night vision is turned on, I assume, yes?
Yeah.
So Team 2 comes around as you breach the door, you storm in, and immediately you're greeted with a mess. There's one vehicle on the floor, there's one suspended on a lift. Both are being worked on. There are tools scattered around. People didn't leave in a hurry, but you can tell that this is definitely not a tight ship. Um, what are you doing? You come in here and you notice that it's a mess. What are you gonna do? Okay, so you see something that's more out of place than everything else. Like everything is kind of neat and tidy. It's not all put back in its cabinets or anything, but you see something that doesn't quite look right, and it's a creeper is out of place, and you can tell because there are two more leaned up against the wall, but this one is out and is kind of in the middle of the floor, and the door to the break room is slightly ajar.
Team 1, what's your status?
This is Team 1. We have cleared the front room, moving to the office.
10-4, I'm moving to the break room.
Copy
And
that.
I bring the purge troopers with me because by this point I'm assuming I've had time to
Yeah,
get
they've
them
come in
in
and
there
backed
if
you up.
I've okay.
All right.
So I'm gonna breach. I'm point man, and then they're gonna follow me in.
Roger that. Team 2 stacking up. You breach the room, and what do you do? Like, what's the first thing that you do when you breach the room?
First thing is scan for bodies.
You notice that the door to the office is slightly ajar, and you do not see anybody in this room.
I'm gonna switch to thermal and see if I can scan anything. I'm gonna look at
You,
any tables or door frames as well, because if he touched them within the past couple seconds, as in while we were breaching, there should still be a little bit of residual heat on whatever he touched.
yeah. So there's a little bit of residual heat on your, well, there's the heat signatures of the troopers, and the purge troopers are currently in the office, and they look like there's nothing there. And sure enough, over the radio you hear, "This is Team 1. Target is not here."
So where did I see the residual heat signature?
You take a look around. You're unable to find any residual heat. Purge Team 1 comes in and says, Sir, we found a little bit of residual heat on the desk. It doesn't look like he was here.
Copy. Look for buttons. Blev,
Copy that.
watch underneath. Watch the floor below us.
This is Purge Team 2. We have found what looks like a door inside this closet here.
10-4 on my way. I walk into the office and go through the door.
It is sealed. And sure enough, Team 1 finds a button on the underside of the desk.
Push it.
The door opens, and in front of you is an illuminated hallway. And at the other end of that hallway is a window.
What orientation would this be? Like, can I give Blev any heads up? A directional
It would
marker.
be
Something?
yeah, it would be on the other side of the building though, like away from the street view.
Okay, well, I'm gonna run down that and tell the purge troopers to follow me.
Hey,
Did I just walk into a trap? I just walked into a trap.
the window opens and out comes the barrel of
I hit the
a
ground.
heavy repeating rifle. The first three purge troopers in the door, like you hit the deck, and then those three take hits, and basically just get gunned down by the volley of lasers that come through that window.
I'm gonna try to swap to my anti-armor attachment, load a flash round, and put it through the window. I will admit, the visor, I'm pretty sure auto darkens for flashbangs and shit, like a welding helmet.
Yeah, well, the keeper.
Fucking helmets on commandos are badass.
Yeah,
I don't know
the
about the purge
helmets.
troopers though. They
The
might not do
helmets
too
on the
well.
purge troopers, though, they are not so great. So,
And I'm assuming I just flashbanged us.
oh yeah, you flashbanged your entire squadron except for you.
I'm gonna quickly crawl down the hallway under the fire that I'm assuming isn't coming down yet. Otherwise, I would be aware of it.
Your back is kind of up against the wall now as the laser rounds are flying over you at the purge troopers who have since kind of retreated out of the hallway. What do you do?
The way you said that this came out up into the window, I'm assuming it's fixed.
It is.
So I'm gonna continue crawling under the rounds towards it.
No, you have made it up to where it is. Like,
Oh,
yeah, you made it. I'm not gonna make you roll for that. You made it, and to your right, as your back is up against the wall, underneath the laser fire, to your right is a door.
crawl out it and then do what I can to shut the turret off so the purge troopers can come through again.
The door is locked.
How big is the window?
It'd probably be more like a 3x3.
I'm gonna detach my backpack, crawl through, and then reach back through and grab it.
Okay.
I
I'm
mean,
gonna need
assuming
you.
there's not something immediately dangerous on the other side of the window, I'll grab my backpack again.
Well, I mean, you pop up through that beside the turret, and you see a human man in street clothes, firing off, and he is extremely surprised. So, what do you do?
Bring my rifle up and
Blast him in the face. He drops to the floor. You crawl through, and because there's nobody there anymore, the turret stops firing. You unlock the door.
squad 1 and 2, turret down, continue on.
Yep, the door unlocks and Squad 2 moving up. Squad 1 has pulled back to the entrance to regroup.
10-4, squad 2, continue.
All right. So you are now kind of in a new section of the base, and you are confronted with yet another hallway, but this one is kind of dimly lit, and you see several doors on either side of the hallway.
Scan for residual heat.
There's a lot of residual heat. And as you scan, you see several bodies kind of cowering in the corners of different rooms.
I tell the purge troopers to get the first room, I'll get the fifth, and interrogate those that were crouching.
They are civilians. So you.
I mean, at that rate, I could just send 2 purge troopers. I guess just divide them evenly among the civilians, and then myself. I'm assuming that we can capture all the civilians within reasonable amounts of time.
Yeah.
Okay.
You round them up. You search all of the closets, everything, and there's no sign of him. But there is a sign of something else. You
Are any
send
of the civilians red-skinned, or like the species that you said in DMs?
no,
What is that again?
none of them are the same race. As you exit the fifth room, one of the purge troopers goes flying out of the room they were searching through and hits the wall with a crash and slides down to the floor with a grunt. You run to the room and look inside, and sitting there with their hands outstretched is a human child um, that is
Just use
looking
the Force.
very afraid. Yes, yes, they did.
I served with Jedi. I can identify that. I mean,
Yeah, no, yes, you can.
I'm gonna put my rifle on my back and put my hands up towards him to show him that I'm not a threat, and then try to talk to him over voice comms, saying, "We have a Force user or Force wielding child in this compound. We need more reinforcements."
Yeah,
A
you say
standard
that, but then over the comm, you hear target acquired, and over your shoulder, or rather from behind you, the child just gets nailed in the dome after a blaster bolt gets fired. And then,
target eliminated.
um, yep, and then you hear several more shots throughout the rest of the building, and um, within a matter of seconds, all of the force sensitive civilians that were in this compound are eliminated, and there is no one left alive. And we're back with another episode of Eclipse, a Star Wars story, not to be confused with Oblivion, a Star Wars story, once again. And tonight I am joined by the one and only Jason Price, aka TK8412, IC 5138, not 33, otherwise known as Rook, and then our local resident ISB agent Ghoul. And today we are finally getting into chasing some rebels, and I am excited. Unfortunately, a couple of our players weren't able to make it today, um, but hopefully they'll be able to make it to the next one. Yeah, are you guys ready? You guys are like, this is it. Like
Let's go.
you've waited long enough. It is time to actually hunt some rebels. Once again, the quiet thrum of an Imperial shuttle is the only thing that fills your ears. You were awoken early this morning by Officer Tash with an urgent communique from an outlying settlement. This settlement, a spaceport called Jaxocall, is home to one of the newest Imperial relay bases on the planet, serving as a way station for troops and supplies from Falcon to the northern hemisphere of the planet. Only hours before, the compound seemed to be at nominal status. Only recently did Command realize that the base was being attacked by a group of insurgents. As you land, the scene is chaotic. Troopers run around the compound like ants after their home has been stepped in, searching for injured and wounded, and putting out the fires that have now spread to the compound. Officer Tash speaks through your communicators. This is a mess. A right fucking mess. Command has been trying to get through to the first responders, but they've been too busy pulling the injured or dead from the compound and putting out the fires that have apparently started with a crashed shuttle. Command wants you to find out what happened down there and then report back immediately so that we can then start pursuing these insurgents. Tash out. And with that, you guys are stepping out of the shuttle. So you guys have the map. There's one unmarked place. It's kind of obvious, but there's the crashed shuttle at the northernmost part of the map. Each of the rooms can be investigated, the barracks, the storage, the mess hall, the armory, and the command center. The landing pads is also an area that you can investigate. And then if you wish to walk around the compound and see if there's anything else that may have taken place, then you are more than welcome to exercise your ability to investigate those places. If you guys want to split up and search for clues, like good old Scooby, I can't finish that. Then you guys can, you guys can do that. But
Am I on the am I on the shuttle too?
yeah, all of you guys are. Hyde and Morgan, the two players that weren't able to join us today, decided to remain back at base for this particular mission. And for anybody wondering from last episode, what went down between Ghoul and the new NPC that was introduced at the very end, that will be taken care of later. So don't worry, we didn't forget about it. It's just it'll be taken care of later. So let's focus on this though. The rebels, I will tell you this much: the rebels literally, like in canon, literally just left. Not like seconds before, but you got there relatively soon after they left. So things are still on fire a little bit. It's a very chaotic, just like I described. People are running around everywhere trying to make sure that everything is like they're trying to. The first crew of responders is trying to make sure that everything is running smoothly again because the
So I
Imperial
think I
machine
might have
never
missed
stops.
something
But
here.
yeah,
Did the crash, like, how did that happen? Do we know?
that's a great
That's what we're here to find
question.
out. We're here to find out.
And did we get directly assaulted?
That's also a great question.
That's what we're here to find out.
Okay. I was just making sure I didn't miss that, and he had explained something there, and I just
Nope.
it cut out or something or what. But
Nope. So you guys have the different areas. You have the landing pads, the storage, the armory, the mess, the barracks, the command center, and the crashed shuttle. Where would you like to go investigate? We'll start with Rook, and then you guys can choose to like go with each other or not, or um, wherever. So I will say that you guys all received a basic layout of the base on the shuttle on your way. So you have a general idea of where you're going. Um, but
I'm
yeah,
gonna go make sure the armory is secure.
okay. Mr. Jason Price, where would you like to go?
I think I will go deal with the command center. You guys
Okay,
can dig up on any recordings or anything.
Would that be better for me to do, since I am the ISB agent?
you can
All
go
right.
there too. Both of you guys can go. All right. So let's
And
see.
what?
We should have one at least investigate the shuttle to
By
make
the
sure
way,
that's not a breach in the.
Okay, that's fair. Price, good call. I'll investigate the shuttle. You take the command center. Good call.
okay. So I will
Yep.
say that you guys can investigate the entire base. You are not limited to. You can only go one place, and that's it. You can investigate the
Priority.
entire place. Yeah. So all right.
Priority.
Jason, you approach the command center, and there are several troopers standing next to the doors, trying to get them open. They have been sealed shut, and they have thus far been unable to get them open. What do you do?
Do we have any explosives?
There are probably some explosives. Let's see. You guys have an armory
Try
in
slicing
your.
it.
You could do that, but
He's not too bright.
I mean, fair. Totally fair.
Average.
Just
he's average, but it's a military kind of door. That's
Okay.
probably a little more complicated than just, picking your home lock.
Okay, we'll say that after your encounter in the marketplace, you had the notion to bring some explosives should the need for some more localized explosions arise instead of, I don't know, calling in a gunship to blow it up. So you
idea.
It worked. Don't.
Not rocky at work.
you take your detonator and you walk up to the door. How do you
I mean,
place
I
this
was
thing?
thinking, I was thinking more of just getting like a breaching charge and either just putting it on the lock to try to blow it out, so that you can just pull the doors apart.
Wait, what ship did we bring? Did we bring Price? Did we bring your ship?
I mean, presumably you could
Sure.
we could retcon it to say that it
Yeah.
was your ship. So then, yeah, you would totally have a breaching charge on there because it's an assault vehicle. So,
Oh,
You
then,
can
yep.
Kool-Aid it,
Oh my
drop in from the ceiling.
You guys, so are you gonna Kool-Aid man it or are you gonna breach it? Because you have a ram and you have a breaching charge both in your shuttle.
Well, Praise, think about this. If there's people inside, going through the roof is going to be the better option because they're not going to expect it. If they're still
Yeah,
holed
but
up
if
inside,
there's any electrical equipment in there, it could be damaged by the falling debris.
you just get a technician that knows the layout of the room to figure out where's the best place to drop in.
Let's do that. Let me find one of them pellets.
We'll say that you request some blueprints from command, some more detailed blueprints of the command center, and you are able to find the best spot to go in through the roof. You walk around the side of the building, climb the access ladder, and you are now standing over the command center. You place your breaching charge. I assume you're placing your breaching charge. Yes.
Or you could use the rockets from your gunship.
Use
Oh
the
my
breaching
God.
charge.
Oh.
I hate rockets. I'm kind of liking that idea.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
You should never give me this kind of power.
No.
He's a
No.
man. He likes rockets. It makes sense.
No, let's go with breaching charge.
Okay. Okay. I like how Rook is. I in my mind I hear the three of you on comms. I hear Jason reporting in saying, "Hey, the door to the command center's locked. I'm gonna go around." And I hear Rook go, "Okay, Roger that. I'm heading to the armory." And then a couple minutes later we hear, "Should I use rockets or breaching charges on the roof?" And then I hear Rook just cringing. Like, no, don't do that. That is a bad idea.
How about you just breach the door like a normal person?
Not normal. He's average.
Oh,
None of
okay.
this should surprise you.
No, it really doesn't. It does not surprise me at all. Anyways, go ahead and roll plus cool to act under pressure as you blow the roof.
Oof.
You son of a bitch!
Both of them are nat 1.
What?
How does that happen?
How?
It's impressive.
I'll tell you how,
Every
Jason.
time
I'll
it's
tell you.
like-
I'll tell you how. It's potato grenades, my man. Potato grenades.
They use rockets.
So you
He's right, I
take.
should have used rockets.
That's
Never listen to reason.
so you take a couple of troopers up on the roof. You're like, "All right, boys, here we go."
God.
You place the breaching charges, and you turn. You walk away a couple of steps, and the
I just
troopers are
imagine the
standing back.
stormtroopers just staring at it, just
This-
standing above it.
Yeah, no, the stormtroopers have stepped back like quite a few steps. Like, I'm not sure about this. And Jason's like, yeah, no problem. You click the button, the thing blows up, and the roof caves in underneath your feet. And you fall and you take.
God damn it.
Rook, this is your fault.
I
agree.
did not do that.
Well,
Told him
just
not to
just
rock
for, just for comedic effect, he falls. Then his helmet does the little spin and then chases after him. Oh man! And Rook, you take 1 point of falling damage.
I'm
Uh,
taking
or
damage?
no,
Rook.
not Rook. Price. Sorry, my bad. Price takes 1.
I'm in the
Rook
armory.
takes
I just
damage
randomly get
for.
hit with shrapnel.
Yeah, no. Jason takes 1 point of fall damage, which, by the way, any damage that you guys took last mission should be off of your character sheets. You should be completely healed. So, mark experience, Mr. Price, and take 1 point of fall damage, ignoring armor. The good news is the 3 unconscious people inside were not hurt by this. They are all now covered in steel shrapnel and glass. They are not doing as well as they were a little bit ago, but they appear to still be breathing.
They can walk it off.
No, they can't, because their arms and legs have been whatever the Star Wars equivalent of zip ties is. They have been bound. They've been zip tied together. Their hands and feet have been zip tied together. Price, you pick yourself up, and the 2 troopers rappel down next to you, and you look around and you see the scene inside is even more of a mess than you thought it would be. Perhaps it's made even more of a mess by the fact that you breached the roof. But several of the monitors and consoles have been shattered or blasted, with only a few left intact.
Should have used the missiles.
Yeah, I see the missile.
3 officers lay on the floor off to the right, now covered in steel and glass shrapnel. As you enter from the roof, upon inspection, they are indeed alive. So, what do you do?
Who are they? Or what are they wearing?
They're wearing Imperial officer uniforms.
What branch?
Army.
Oh, okay. I guess figure out if they actually are who they are supposed to be, like their identities.
Okay. Do you open the doors so that the other troopers can come inside, or do you just leave them locked and leave them struggling outside?
Oh yeah, I should let them in.
Yeah.
I'll send one of the guys that came with me to go open the door for them.
Okay. They go and open the doors, and a couple of the stormtroopers that remained outside come in. You sit the officers up, and you send facial scans to command, and they come back positive. So all 3 of these men are indeed Imperial Army. They are who they say, or not who they say they are, because they're unconscious. All the info comes back, and they're clear. So.
What are their ranks?
One of them is a corporal. One of them is a lieutenant, and one of them is a captain.
Okay.
And this is all signified by the red squares, red and white, I should say, because the army corporal is 2 red squares flanked by a white square on the right. But they have all the proper ranks. Their ID came back positive, and they're wearing the proper uniform. So they all check out, but they're bleeding now because they're covered in steel and glass shrapnel. So
I guess I'll treat them.
Oh.
All right. Go ahead and roll plus cool to help out. And that's an 8. So you successfully patch up all of them. They're no longer in critical condition. and they start regaining consciousness. So at this point, I think now that you're in here and you're able to start kind of investigating, I think now would be a good time to jump to Ghoul, who is currently at the shuttle, yes?
Yes.
So you investigate the shuttle. So you come to the
Because
shuttle.
I think at this base I will be wearing my white ISB uniform.
Okay, so wearing your ISB uniform, you exit the door by the mess hall, and you are greeted with a charred wreck of an Imperial shuttle. Fire retardant foam still lingers on the hull of the shuttle and the wings that are on the ground next to it. And all around on the ground, the foam is also just scattered around where the troopers scattered to put out the fire. The inside of the shuttle is in similar shape. The retardant foam is all over the place. The fire consumed most of the interior. Charred crates are kind of strewn about and have inside the shuttle and fell out the back as the shuttle crashed. And the cockpit, while accessible, is nearly completely crumpled from the nose inwards. You turn around as you approach the shuttle to kind of look back at the base, and you notice that there is a huge chunk missing out of the wall of the mess hall, and not in the sense that you can see through the mess hall wall, but you know that compounds are normally perfect angles. There are no slopes of any kind. The metal of the roof of the mess hall is warped, and it appears that the shuttle hit the building on its way down.
Hmm.
So
Okay. Is it safe to assume it's a Lambda class shuttle?
it is a Lambda class shuttle, yes.
Got it. Are there any crews working around this thing anywhere?
You mean like fire crews?
Salvage crews.
Yeah, there's about 5 or so stormtroopers sitting off to the side. They are packing up what remains of a dispenser for that fire retardant. There are 2 troopers standing off to the side, kind of with their blasters drawn, standing not at ease, but not at attention either, just kind of on guard, watching everything. The salvage crew hasn't come in yet, but those are the troopers that are currently around the area.
Okay. I'm gonna go up to the couple that are standing guard and kind of ask them if they can get me an officer who knows the manifest of this flight or any information on this flight.
They look back and forth to each other, and then one pipes up and says, "All of the officers from this compound have gone missing. I heard that they haven't been able to get the command center open." And just then you hear the sound of an explosion. You hear what you think sounds like a shout, and it sounds oddly like Jason, and that is about where we put him falling through the roof at. The troopers kind of jump with a start, and the one says, "I don't know what that was, but I don't know if the compound's under attack again. Go check the other wall, TK, and I will go inside and see what that was." And the one stormtrooper heads around to the side of the building, off to kind of the east, and then he runs into the building because it sounded like it came from the command center. So he runs into the door by the mess hall, and then the other trooper splits off and goes around to the east side of the compound. What do you do?
I'm gonna flick up comms and I go, Trice status report.
We had a little incident at the command center. Nothing to worry about. Just yeah. Just a malfunction.
Good. And then I'm going to board the shuttle if possible. Like, is there an opening in it? I assume since it crashed.
Yes, the rear door is open. The door is there has been a door has been cut open
From the outside or inside?
From the outside, so that the troopers could kind of get in, because it was or well, I shouldn't say cut. I suppose it probably exploded. Actually, now that I'm thinking about it, one of the engines exploded and left kind of a gaping hole in the side, and that's how they got in. So, because classically on Lambda shuttles, the entrance is in the belly under the front, right? Yeah, so they had to kind of go in through the corner of the hull when the engine exploded, because it was on fire. So that's how you get in, if you want to get in.
So, well, yeah, I'm gonna draw my blaster just in case, and then flashlight as well, and kind of go inside of it carefully, trying to make sure that I don't disrupt something that makes it all fall down on top of my head, because that would be inconvenient and ruin my day.
I can imagine so. I think it's time that you roll to investigate a mystery if you're looking for useful information. Unless you know specifically what you're looking for, I would suggest rolling plus sharp to ask me some questions.
You're looking for the black box and flight record data, which would be cockpit.
I believe so, but I believe that would also fit into a what happened here. So go ahead and roll plus sharp.
9.
9. So you have 2 hold. Oh, sorry, no, 1 hold. So what happened here? You're going for the black box. You withdraw the black box from the cockpit of the shuttle. You know where these things are. It was pretty much in your training on how to retrieve flight logs from different ships that belong to the Empire for data keeping records, shall we say, along with several other ships that you may have to pull black boxes out of time and again to make sure that other people didn't figure out what happened to them. And you get the box. And how exactly are you going to look at the contents of this box?
Well, I'm not yet. I'm just securing it at the current moment.
Okay. You have secured the black box for the Lambda shuttle. Are you going to do anything else, or are you going to head out?
I'd be aware of any other information storing devices inside the cockpit, any manifest registers, anything like that. Also, are there any corpses around?
This sounds like another investigate a mystery roll, and I'll let you go ahead and roll one more.
I would search for wounded before I searched for corpses, but whatever.
If there's wounded in this ship, then I'm impressed.
10. So on a 10 plus, you hold 2. So
what is being concealed here?
You smell something off, and perhaps that can be attributed to your clawdite senses. That, and I assume you are in your human form, so as not to disgruntle anybody. So you start walking back out of the cockpit and back out towards the fire crew, and you stop as you notice a panel that is slightly ajar on the floor. And this would be it's a wreck. Things are definitely ajar. Things are definitely like all over the place. Wires are hanging from the ceiling. The whole thing is creaking like it's going to fall apart at some point. But you know that Lambda shuttles are pretty sturdily built, and these things have to be like the main hull is still intact, even though it suffered a pretty nasty crash. And you see this floor panel moved aside, and you move it even further, and the smell of burnt flesh assails your nostrils as you uncover 4 charred corpses of stormtroopers.
Oh shit! That means that the crew was dead before this shuttle crashed. Oh shit! That's not good. I'm going to get outside of the shuttle pretty quickly and go
You
over
still
the
have
stormtrooper.
one question you can ask me.
Oh, you're right. You're right. Shit. Go. I want to see where the crew, where the rest of the crew went. Because these are the only 4 corpses in the ship, right?
Yes, you step out of the ship in a hurry, but as you step foot out, you notice something extremely strange. Extremely strange. You see something that you haven't seen in a long, long time. And you follow these tracks around the side. It's actually a couple sets of tracks, 2 to be exact, and you follow it around the side. It joins up with a third pair, and then it joins up with another trio, and then it just becomes a tangled weave of footprints as troopers had started to mill into the place. So you cordon off that section of dirt with some cones that the fire brigade had set out as cautionary points, and you box it off, and you tell everybody to steer clear of that particular area, so that you can go and get confirmation from Rook, because currently you think you're going crazy. Speaking of Rook, we bounce over to Rook in the armory, and Rook, as you enter the armory, it's a sight. The armory is now in complete and total disarray. The metal grate that hangs over the countertop that would drop down in case of emergency is dented inwards so that it would not move. The door to the opposite side, to the quartermaster's side, where all of the weapons are kept, it is broken and ajar, and on the inside there is a body bag with a stormtrooper helmet sitting on top of it. What do you do?
Well, if I would assume that security has already been in, and that's why the stormtrooper is in a body bag.
Yeah.
Is it like the stormtrooper helmet is placed on the head of the body bag, or like?
No, it's just placed on the chest, like the rifle in
Well,
the
like
dirt with the helmet. It's
just
kind of like that, but
nicely placed and not just like happened to fall on it.
no, it was nicely placed.
Okay. Well, then I guess I'll look for anybody in here, because assuming there's going to be a quartermaster or somebody in here guarding the armory.
This sounds like an investigate a mystery type deal, and I will remember that your blaster is drawn just in case anything happens, but I don't think it will. So go ahead and roll plus sharp to investigate a mystery.
8.
On a 7 to 9, you hold 1. Are you looking for the quartermaster, or what are you doing here?
I mean, I figured it would be a given that I would be able to find somebody in here.
There were 2 troopers standing outside as you entered, but aside from that, nobody's in here.
Well, first off, I'm going to check the weapon stores to see what might have been taken.
I'll leave
Because
that as
obviously
a...
somebody tried to get in here and take something.
Yeah. Upon checking the registry, I guess, or the manifest, you do some back and forth. Is this here? Yep, that's here. Is this here? No, that's not here. You realize that several crates of E11s and E11 ammunition are missing.
Nice. Any armor missing?
No. So there was not really any armor in here. You get the impression that armor was never really stored here. It was always kept with the troopers.
I'm assuming that would be in storage then.
There's only one way to find out.
I was from barracks. If it's kept with them.
Because if they took E11 and ammo, I'm thinking this might be an Umbara situation. So, is there anything else missing?
There's nothing missing, but something in this room seems off to you. And since I let Ghoul roll twice, I'll let you roll again.
9. So,
So
what's off?
you start to walk out and then stop. And you walk backwards a couple steps. You look at the door. And then you kind of get down on the level of where the door was broken open around the lock, and you inspect it very closely because you could swear that it was cut by a lightsaber.
But
Damn it.
That's an issue. Get out the flamethrowers, boys.
do I have access
Use a
to the
switch.
base comm, like the announcement system? Actually, I'll just put it over our comms instead.
All right, let's hear that character voice, buddy.
Attention all units. We have the possibility of a Jedi on site. Repeat, possibility of a Jedi on site. Be highly aware and engage any Jedi.
There's a little bit of quiet for a second, and then you hear a couple of stormtroopers that are in your unit, or just one specifically, come back. Sir, what the fuck? And similar responses can be heard from other troopers as they realize the gravity of the situation.
As I hear this, I just respond, "You heard me. Now clear comms and keep an eye out."
It is at that point then you hear Ghoul come onto the radio, and he relays what he found at the shuttle crash.
Rook, I'm getting weird tracks at the crash site. I believe they're battle droids. I need a second opinion on this. This could be bigger than we're thinking.
10-4, I'll be over there shortly, but I have to investigate a lead of my own in the storage unit.
Understood. Good luck.
10-4, out.
All right, and at this point, we're going to go back to Price. And right before we do, Rook, did you move to another place? Are you moving to the storage?
Yeah.
Okay, and then Ghoul, are you moving to the command center as well, or are you going to go to a different place?
Before I move, can I request something of the fire crew?
Sure.
I want all of them to remove their helmets for a second.
They all do, and there are no battle droids.
That's not
Like I saw where you were going right away with that. I'm like, there are no battle droids.
I mean, I gotta be sure.
Oh, shit.
Okay.
One question I meant to ask: the stormtrooper bodies I found, did they have their armor still on them?
Yes, they did.
Okay, good. Okay, then yeah, I'm headed to the command center.
Okay. You enter the command center to find Jason patching up a couple of the officers that had been covered in steel and glass shrapnel, and then you look up to see the gaping hole in the ceiling and something. I don't know. Were you actually serious when you told him to blow a hole in the roof, or
I would 100% suggest something like that as a precaution.
then something along the lines of "nice" are uttered, and you guys are now in the command center to investigate. So, Jason, it is now on you. Go ahead and roll plus sharp to investigate a mystery and see if you can figure out what happened in this room.
Still got a
5.
Yeah, so fucked.
Go ahead and roll. Not roll. Go ahead and mark experience. You take a quick survey around the room and you see nothing
Oh wait, is this
amiss. But
is this actually no, never mind. What were we rolling for again?
you were rolling to investigate a mystery.
Oh yeah, no, this wouldn't have helped me then. Never mind. Yeah, I'm a dumb son of a bitch.
Aw. No, you take one quick look around the room and then go back to, we'll say you go back to the officers, because do I remember correctly in that you said that you wanted to question the officers, or no?
I was going to. I didn't say I was going to, but
It doesn't really. You're not really doing physical investigations when you interact with people, so it's okay to more talk to them. So you have the three ranking officers there. You have the lieutenant, you have the corporal, and then you have the captain. The corporal and the captain and the lieutenant, actually, they're all covered in shrapnel, but the captain is wearing the uniform of a deck officer, while the lieutenant and the corporal appear to be in supervising fatigues, like they were in the command center when this all popped off, and the captain was out and about around the base. So the captain is in the uniform of a deck officer, and the corporal and lieutenant are basically in technician uniforms because they were here in the command center. So who do you want to question as they come to consciousness?
I'll question the captain first.
Okay. He looks at you as you bandage one of his, I guess, his arm that was cut by a falling piece of glass, and he says he gives you his thanks, and you should probably lead with a question there, Mr. Investigator. So, what do you ask the captain?
What is his military identification number?
TK 9652 is my designation, and it matches up with the designation that you got from command when you ran ran their faces through the database. So he checks out.
Can I radio command and have them pull up his profile of like where he's born, a whole bunch of questions about him?
And they get that list to you. What do you ask him?
So first off, I'll lead off just to make sure that you don't have any head injuries or anything. I'm gonna ask you some questions.
All right, go ahead.
Now, so where were you born?
I was born on Coruscant and put through the military school as soon as I was old enough, and graduated, not top of my class, but with decent grades, and was transferred here after a short time. And sure enough, he was born on Coruscant to a middle-income family. They sent him off to the academy as soon as he was old enough, and he did pass with grades that were better than most of his class, but he was not top of his class. So he appears to be cognizant and without head injury.
I guess ask him in as much detail as he can. Tell me what happened.
So it was a normal day, of course, as I assume all of these mishaps start out being. A normal shift, guard changed fine, and then we got a shuttle land on pad Bravo out on the pads, and it was strange because they weren't on the roster for another cycle or two, and even then their codes were sort of strange, but they all checked out. Nothing was the only thing that kind of was off was that they were ahead of schedule, and we went out. They had supplies that needed moving in. We started moving them in. One of the officers, she was extremely young to be the rank she was, but from what she told me, it was something, and he holds his head. He holds his head like he was trying to remember, and he says she was here on special assignment from. And he holds his head again, and he can't it's like he can't remember, but he has no visible trauma to his head. And then after a second, he just shakes his head and says, anyways, the officer from the shuttle and I came in here, and she was escorted by a trooper from their
What
shuttle.
did she look like?
Yes.
Okay, so can I see if there's like any mental block on this guy, or if it's like why he can't remember? Is that something that's possible?
Yeah, I suppose that would fit in with your newfound stuff. So, go ahead and roll plus weird.
7.
7. You can tell that there is something there, but you do not have the ability to pierce it.
Yeah, and then I'm going to let Praise continue with his description because we desperately need a description of the Jedi.
You guys are sitting there, and he continues on, and he gives a description of a young girl with slight freckles, long blackish brown hair, and she seems she seems unfamiliar to you, but as she describes Ghoul, you come to a very disturbing realization that you may know who this is, but it will have to you'll have to do some research on it in the future. But he continues on. Anyways, there was she came in here. We talked a little bit. She wanted to know how the command center worked because she wanted to be an officer in charge of a compound at some point, and she
And you just
wait,
let her just go around without any clearance.
no. She was under supervision the entire time. We got her logged on to the console here, and we were going through the security cameras and how to flip through them, and we viewed a camera, and there was a team of intruders inside the compound in front of the storage in front of the storage bay, and they were attacking troopers. And so we put the base on lockdown. Then the door was breached over there, and he gestures to the other door, and these two other guards from I guess they were rebels burst through the door and held us at gunpoint until they zip tied us and knocked us out and left us in here. And I assume they sealed the doors, judging by the rather makeshift entrance that was made
Don't worry
into
about
this
that.
room. But the most interesting thing was what we found on those cameras before they left. While we were being held at gunpoint, they pulled files from the system, from that terminal, and he gestures to a terminal that doesn't look too good. It's been banged up pretty bad, but looks salvageable. He says, there was the strangest sight I have ever seen in my entire military career, because the troopers had their people surrounded. They were backed into the storage area, but then inside, it looked like a Lasat.
A what now?